Not every horror game needs jump scares to be scary. Some older games can be just as terrifying as the newer ones. Such game as Waxwork. So today I'm going to be reviewing a game called Waxworks. It's a very old game, old computer game. You can look it up on Classic Reloaded if you guys want to find it, unless you want to get an emulator or find the actual device you need to play it. I wouldn't suggest it. It definitely is not a game that I would go actively looking for now. Is by today's standards, it's very cheesy. But again, back in the day, it was considered a huge deal, and definitely one of the scariest games out there back in the 90s. The game I'm talking about is Waxwork. You guys can look it up. This game is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's got a lot of blood, a lot of gore in it, stuff like that. So today I'm just going to be going over why this game is so fucking scary, why I still refuse to finish the game. I played it, but I'm not going to finish it. I'd rather not. So Waxwork is a dungeon crawler. Back is a horror dungeon crawler. Put those together, you got a very nice game. But whatever. So the game we're going to be talking about is Waxwork. A dungeon crawler made back in the 90s. I'm not 100% sure on who made it, but I don't think that really matters. Anyways, so the point of this game and the storyline behind it is that back in the old days, back when the witch trials were still going on, a witch happened to steal a chicken from a farmer. The farmer noticed and decided as a punishment to cut off one of the lady's hands. Unfortunately, the lady was a witch, so as soon as it happened, she placed a curse on the guy. Now, of course, the guy is the main character's great ancestors, so of course, we're going to have a curse on us, but whatever. Basically, her curse was, I had 2 hands, you have taken 1. Your woman has 2 children, I shall take 1. Each generation that has twins, I shall take 1, and they will help me serve Lord Beelzebub. It's basically the devil. So pretty much this witch just said, I have 2 hands, you just took 1. So now, every time in your family, in your bloodline, a wife has twins, I will take 1 of your twins. Just like you took 1 of my hands. So already we know that this game is going to be insane. Kind of. Anyway, story goes that the curse continues, and 4 generations of your bloodline have had twins. 1 twin is good, the other twin is bad. The bad twin, or the twin that serves Lord Beelzebub with the witch, always wins at the end of the day. The good twin tries to save him and dies miserably and horribly. Now, again, you are the 5th generation. Now it is the 5th generation, and now the main character's name is Adam. You are Adam. You are, of course, the unlucky 5th generation of twins. Now you are the good twin, but your twin brother Alex is the evil twin, the twin that will serve Lord Beelzebub. Before they turn evil, they get a vision of the night where the witch's hand was cut off. We know this because at the end of the game, he refers to it in complete detail. But anyways, so basically things progress the way you think they progress, and stuff like that. So now you have a curse. The 4th generation good twin, before dying, parted his soul into one of the balls, like the ones the oracles or the psychics have, those like little orbs. He transfers his soul into there and gives it to his servant. The servant then contacts you and asks you to go to his waxwork, like a museum sort of thing. The museum has only 4 places set up. Each of them are all 4 generations. We'll go to them in greater detail in a moment here. But anyways, you come over and you bring your brother Alex with you, knowing that the curse will eventually take him, And of course, as soon as you enter the waxwork, it does. He falls unconscious and starts to go through the dream phase. Now you're running out of time before Alex kills you. You must then go to all 4 of the generations and stop the evil twins. Now all 4 generations are, well, at least one is iconic. The other 3 are made up. But firstly, you get the orb, and he tells you have health, and then you have a psychic meter. Each time that you contact your brother, you take a piece of your soul and you put it inside of the obelisk, or the oracle, or whatever you want to call it, the ball thing. That's the only way you can contact him. So of course, your soul, you've already parted with some of your soul to contact him beforehand, but now you're going to have to do it a bunch more, going through all the areas. The servant gives you an amulet and a ring. The ring is to be placed on the brother as soon as you stop the curse. This is to save him from becoming evil. Because he's already fallen unconscious and already starting to go through his change, there's no way of stopping him from turning evil. Curse broken or not. The amulet, you're going to need all 4 souls. You're going to need 4 souls in order to get there. All 4 souls must be of the Beelzebub follower, or the evil twin, in order to go to hell, in order to stop what's going on. Four generations, 4 souls. Easy enough. So, the first place, most likely the first place and the easiest place to enter, you're probably going to enter, is Ancient Egypt. The first evil twin, or Beelzebub follower, is a pharaoh. The pharaoh has captured a lady and you must save her. If you don't save her, you can't move on. After evading all the corrupted slaves and not dying via a bunch of traps, you eventually have to fight him. Once you're done fighting him, you can collect his soul and you're able to leave. Next place you're most likely going to go to, and quite possibly I think one of the easiest places to go to, and because I've played this one a lot, you're going to London. You're going forward through time, and now your evil twin is none other than Jack the Ripper himself. Now you must evade, because you are his twin, mobs and police are gonna think that you are Jack the Ripper. Therefore, you must evade the police, evade the mob, the growing mob that is actively hunting you down on the map, and you must finally kill him. Next place you're probably gonna go to is a mix between either the mines or the graveyard. I think these two are the scariest places. Now, I have not been to these places personally, as I don't have the balls to. We're going to go with the graveyard first, because I think that's everybody's third one, and then we go to the last one. So in this one, your evil twin, so the first generation was the pharaoh. The second generation is the necromancer. Now, the necromancer is the person we have here. The third generation is Jack the Ripper. The fourth generation is the mine. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm not going to say why he's evil or anything like that until later. So basically, so the game is supposed to be played. You're supposed to go to into ancient Egypt, to the graveyard, to London, and then into the mines. That's how it's supposed to be played, but not many people play it that way. Most people play it Egypt, London, graveyard, mines, or mines, graveyard. Doesn't matter. But anyways, once you enter the graveyard, it is abundantly clear that something is going wrong here. Although being the easiest boss, he's also one of the most dangerous, as he was able to absorb the soul of the good twin and make himself more powerful. Because of this, he became a powerful necromancer, and so zombies roam the graveyards. Vampires, anything you see like that. Basically, anything you think you'd see inside of a graveyard, it's there. Except the coroner. or the people who take care of the graveyard. They're not there because they're most likely fucking dead. Anyways, so this place takes the most out of Adam's soul here, is the fact that you need to go through these graveyards and need to give up some of your soul in order to get past some of these places. It is definitely not one of the easiest places, as the only way to figure out where you're supposed to go next if you get lost is to give up some of your soul and talk to the 4th generation twin. He's not that helpful. I'll tell you that much right now. But anyways, so once you do succeed in doing all that, you must go around collecting souls. Once you get enough souls, you are finally able to take on Vladimir, the evil twin. Now, this guy is easiest. All you have to do is touch him. You don't have to fight him like the other ones where you have to, like, you know, go through like stabbing and time your hits perfectly to block and stuff like that. All you gotta do is just touch him. The souls will go into him, and instead of killing him, just turn him into a baby. You were then teleported out of there. Now, it is left to assume that now, because he's too young because he's a baby and he can't control the zombies anymore, it's left to assume that, and eventually he just died because he couldn't eat, because he's a baby now, he can't take care of himself, or the zombies, vampires, or whatever, ghost, made their way up into the tower and killed him. Because they're no longer under his control, because he's a baby. I think that's kind of fucked. You turn him into a baby, you leave, and he gets eaten by a zombie. That's kind of what you're left to assume. I think that's kind of where they were going with it. But I don't think they really wanted to show a baby die, so whatever. But anyways, that's it. The next one is the mine. Now so the 4th generation is the most powerful out of any generation. He was an evil occultist even before he was finally turned evil and turned to the service of the Lord Beelzebub under the curse of the witch. So even before that, he was obsessed with ancient demons and stuff like that. He began a cult, but his cult was driven out of his town. So in order to be able to continue his practices in service of Lord Beelzebub before he was taken over, he ran into the mines underneath the town. Underneath the mines of the town was a small mining community. He then killed them all and sacrificed themselves to Lord Beelzebub. With this, he now essentially has given himself up even before the curse took place, which means that now he's become more powerful than any of the twins before him. This is because he already knew about the curse, as he lived long enough to see the 3rd generation. I mean, he was born with the 3rd generation. So the 3rd and 4th generation were kind of born together. They were not quintuplets, but they were born very, very quadruplets. No, quintuplets are 5. Quadruplets, whatever that you call them. Eventually, there were 2, but 2 were born a year later. So therefore, the evil twin, the 4th evil twin, was able to watch the 3rd evil twin, or, you know, Jack the Ripper, turn evil. Did I forget to mention that this takes place in a desert? But you go into the mines with a small bit of miners. All the miners are eventually killed, of course, and Adam's left by himself to rig charges and blow up the entire place with the 4th evil twin in it. After eventually fighting off against the 4th evil twin, he is now able to make his way and set up the charges. The only problem is that the 4th evil twin, in order to ascend, quote unquote, he made a vial of poison. Now, this vial of poison would turn anything into these plant mutant freaks. Vines would grow off the wall that gained sentience and were able to attack the player at will. You needed pesticide in order to move through, and you only had a limited amount. Therefore, once you run out of pesticide, you're pretty much fucked, because if you turn around, the plants will grow back. So if you take too long, you're dead. They'll kill you if you touch them. But anyways, eventually, you're able to rig the charges. You defeat the 4th twin by spewing pesticide on him after dodging a bunch of plant attacks and stuff like that. And eventually, you rig the charges and make your way out. There are two ways that you can end this mission. The first way is that you don't call the elevator. If you forget to call the elevator back down once you enter, because you go up, you evacuate the miners that are still alive down there, and eventually you come back. That would have been sacrificed to the cult, but if you get them up, but if you grab them in time, which you're supposed to, you have to escort them back to the mine elevator. If you forget to then bring it back down, you have to rig the charge and you have to blow them up while you're in the mine shaft, killing you in the process. Now, of course, this would mean that the fifth evil brother never had another brother. Therefore, the curse would have broken on him, but instead, it would have gone to the sixth generation because, I mean, he's no longer a twin anymore. And if the twin dies before he's corrupted, then the curse doesn't work because there's only one of them. Or so the storyline goes. I have no idea. It's a really old game, so the storyline isn't really sound. I don't really think that's really the point of the game. I think it's kind of just to explain why you're going to these places. But anyways, so two endings. The first ending is the bad ending where you have to kill yourself. Although you spare your brother from the curse will still continue on with your bloodline. So you failed because you fucking suck. The next ending, or the good ending, or the ending that you want, is basically where now you did bring the elevator shaft back down after freeing all the miners, and now you're able to escape before you have to blow up the charges. Of course, you still get a game over. You have to restart with the first ending, by the way. That's not really the real ending. That's just kind of something that you can do, but it doesn't work. You have to try again. But anyways, so afterwards, like once you're all done with whatever you're fucking doing, you're dying, you then can make your way back to the waxwork that you have been going through, and now a new fifth area has opened up. This is the witches area. You get the ring, the amulet, a vial of poison, a knife, and you need to grab the crossbow inside of the waxwork. You throw the vial on the witch before her hand's cut off. You shoot her in the eye with the arrow, and then you stab her with the knife. And then she dies before she's able to curse you. The curse is now lifted, and the game is over. Now you go back with the ring and the amulet filled with the four, now emptied, because the four souls have now never existed. Now that the curse has been broken in the past, the curse never existed. Therefore, their souls were never inside of the amulet. So you were then pushed out of hell, or of a reincarnation of hell, to the date of which it took place. And then now you can go to your brother, slip on the ring. He wakes up, tells you all about what you just did, because he thinks it was a dream. It wasn't, by the way. But he thinks it's a dream, so you go back, and now you're able to leave, and that's the end of the game. A very confusing game, might I add. I never really understood the timeline. There's a bunch of things wrong with it. I mean, let's be real here. How come the third generation and the fourth generation were both born at the same time, but one turned evil beforehand, and then watched the other one die, and then the other one just decided, you know what, I'm going to start working as an occultist. It never really made sense to me. I never really understood it, but whatever. I mean, it's a really old game, made back in the 1990s. Oh my god, Brain Dead. I'm going to do a Brain Dead review on that game. That game is so much fun. I still play that game sometimes. But anyways, it was definitely a game that was worth something. By today's standards, it's probably really cheesy. The deaths are still really horrifying, by the way. You can die many ways. You can die by a zombie, die by traps, die by, the enchanted slaves. You can die by your twin, or, well, your ancestor twin, whatever. It's not really your twin. Like, it's crazy to think that, like, a game like this was able to make it out. But I mean, I guess back in the day things were a lot different. This was made before ESRB, so it was made before, actually it may have been back in the 80s, because ESRB was made because of Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat didn't come out until a lot later. So, never mind. This game was definitely made before the 90s. Couldn't be in the 70s, though. No way. Anyways. It's really, really fucked up, scary game. I do like the premise of it. You evil witch curse you. If you have a twin, there's a 50-50 shot of you becoming the evil twin. Stuff like that when you grow up and you go older. Stuff like that, which is really scary. But anyways, I really did enjoy the game. Not gonna lie. It was scary. I didn't actually ever bother beating the game because I just don't want to have to die and look at that. I don't recommend playing this game for the faint of heart. I definitely don't recommend anyone playing this game ever. To be honest with you, it's a good game. It's good, got a good premise. It's just really fucked. To be 100% honest with you, I'm surprised that it made it as far as it did and getting out. It sold decently and actually has a remake in the work for Steam. I think it's in its alpha version right now. But I watched a video on it, and it's somebody doing the mines, which is really, really scary to think that they actually have a remake on the way. I'm gonna be playing the remake. Probably not gonna post it because again, it's kind of a fucked up game. I probably won't even play it that much anyways, but I'm definitely gonna get it because it definitely was a nice horror game to play. You know, it definitely wasn't too bad. I'd say that I won't be playing the graveyard at all because that's just the way you die by the zombie is disgusting. I don't look at it at all. I'm not even joking. I'm not saying that so you guys want to look at it. I'm saying if you're the curious type, don't be. This game is disgusting, but also a lot of fun in the sense that I love dungeon crawlers. Horror dungeon crawlers are definitely my calling, no matter how disgusting or vulgar they are. It's a lot of fun to play these things on a daily day basis, but I said this game is definitely not one I'm gonna go back to anytime soon. I might do the remastered version, but more likely I'm probably just gonna not touch this game ever again. This game was disgusting. It was awful. I hated it, but it was a dungeon crawler, so I do gotta give it some sort of love, as dungeon crawlers are my thing. They're my jam. But honestly and truthfully, this game was absolutely nasty in the death scenes that it had. I think the storyline was decent enough. But anyways, if I had to give this game a rating, probably gonna be a 5 out of 8. So basically a 7 out of 10, I'd say. It's not the best game in the world. It definitely has some more improvements that it could have had. There's a bunch of glitches which you can perform in order to make sure that you don't die, which is okay. I mean, it's a really old game in the sense that old games were one and done. As soon as you finished the game, as soon as it went out, there was no other updates. So if there was a game with a big glitch that was overlooked in development and you finally put it out there, unless you're going to remake the game all over again to fix one bug and that costs a lot of money, I don't really think that there's any point to fix it. I'm hoping in the remastered version that they do fix these bugs, as these bugs are definitely something that can be recreated. In the original one of them was if you get attacked, if you just press on the pause menu, you save your game, you reload it, there's going to be no monster there, so you're able to just skip it. There's one where you could just walk through enemies and they couldn't see you. There's one where enemies wouldn't attack. There's one where you had infinite amount of health. If you just pause the game, press save, and then restore it at the right time, you make the game go so much easier. I know there's one where somebody was able to get it to walk through walls, so basically he was just able to get right to the boss before he was even supposed to. That one was the graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. He was able to walk through the graves and get to the tower. Now, of course, because the game was really old, it had sequence points. On these sequence points, what they did was at a certain point, instead of the game checking to see if you had it, a game would go to a sequence point, which basically, even if you didn't have it, which was pretty much impossible, the game would register as you having it. Therefore, like the souls, we need the souls of the dead in the graveyard in order to touch Vladimir with, to get him to revert back to a child or baby. Instead of having to actually collect those souls, if you did a sequence glitch and get to the sequence point, you were able just to have those without even collecting them. Some other games had that too, where you needed a knife in order to cut the vines down. In another game that I played, another dungeon crawler, a really old one, if you went to a sequence point, it would give you the knife without you even needing to go through it. So basically, you were just able to cut the knife. Brain Dead, I know how to sequence glitch as well, where you're able to get to the kitchen without even having to get what you needed in order to get to the kitchen in the first place. Therefore, you just, like, instead of having, I think it was the flame that you needed. No, it was, VVs. You could totally skip through VVs and get to the alien place. All you had to do was do a sequence glitch, and it would, basically, you could go back to VVs without having to deal with her. It was really weird, but I don't even think it was a glitch. I think it was just another way to go around, but it felt like a glitch. So anyways, that's it for me, guys.